Hey, true believers, both of you. Top 10 Tuesday night, and we figure, what the heck, let's do top 10 independent comic books. That might be why there's only 2 people in the audience, because independent comic books, they just don't sell. I don't know why, because they're the good ones these days. All right, with me to help count down is the avatar. Can we get a face there somewhere? Is the avatar of Eric Breen, Eric Back Issue Breen. My background today, I was looking for independent comic books characters, and I thought, wait a second, I did a video about the history of the Canadian heroes, so why not put up Captain Canuck? All righty, I don't know if he's not going to show up online. Anyway, I don't know if he's going to show up or not, but we'll find out. And hello to Zach and Maranya. Thank you for showing up. Hey, threw a birthday party and nobody came. Oh, just like my wedding night. Anyway, basic rules were very simple. That can't be originally produced by Marvel and DC. That opens the door actually to a lot of DC comic book heroes, though, Eric. Oh, I thought you would have a comment on that. Okay.
I was trying to think, who might that encompass? I know what you're talking about. In
Captain Atom, right? The Question. You've got Blue Beetle. Like, you could actually go through an entire roster of DC comic heroes.
Yeah, I disqualified them too.
Qualify for independent comics. Now, I did not play that game.
Yeah, I said I disqualified them too. And as we were talking backstage, I also disqualified. I made myself pick 10 characters that originated in comics, not in pulps first. That wasn't a rule for everybody. I just put that rule on myself.
Not a rule for me.
If there's some differences, that's why.
Yeah, it wasn't a rule for me at all, and I'm happy. I looked at. I got to tell you, I had a couple of runner-ups that I'm really sad did not make this list. One of them is really famous, and one of them not so much, but was really cool to me. A lot of the Harveys, like, I could have filled this list with Harveys. You have the little Lulu, you have the hot stuff, Kid Devil, or whatever you want to call him, Little Devil. You have Casper. There's still stuff like Pogo and Little Abner. There's so many great things I would have loved to have put in this one. I had Grandma Rose, by the way, which I know would have been one people would go like, wait, what? Grandma Rose from Bone is one of the most whacked out cool characters I've ever read in comic books. She starts off as this kind of quirky farmer lady, but then as you go on and you read the book, you find out that she was actually a warrior before all this. So there's a rich history there. And the other one that I'm sad to say did not make this list is Casper. So that would be my runner-up, because I got to tell you, I used to read Casper quite a bit. So, yeah.
See, now my like Bones grandmother would have been Skywolf's mother if I'd gone real inside the numbers. But
yeah. And that's the thing. I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's the elementals, the DN agents, the ghosts, and I was writing these down. And then, wait a second, when you're stacking them up against some, you also, not only are they your favorite, but I kind of also wanted to put in the historical context, and some just make it a little bit better. Hello to Joseph Pulford. How you doing there, Nerdy Texan Accountant? I appreciate you guys showing up for the party. Zach and Maranya was kind of keeping everything warm for you guys. I am a Red Guard. What's up? Sup, dude? Sorry about your birthday, wedding night. No worries, man. I was just saying, when we first started, it was us, Maranya, and Zach. So we're good to see you guys joining in. Now, once again, while we're counting down, you count down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video based on our votes. So if you put something at number 10, it gets 1 point. If you put something at number 1, it gets 10 points. Easy peasy. And then I kind of tally them up, make a video. It's going to show up on Old Man Comics. I just finished the Avengers video. I tried to get creative with the green screen and all that kind of stuff, and it caused me a little bit later because I was like, oh wait, nope, I got to clean that up. Okay, you know, I'm playing with my new software toys, by the way. But yeah, the Avengers will probably be up after the live stream or maybe tomorrow in the morning. But yes, your vote counts, and your vote does count. So it's kind of funny if you've 3 points. If you put it at number 3, that's 7 points. If you put it at number 7, that's 3 points. That could take it over. That could change the countdown. So make sure that your voice is heard. This isn't just about me and Brain. This is about everybody. All righty. So as we're counting down, make sure you're counting down with us. I'll say we're going to go on to number 10. Give me your number 10. Don't try to count ahead. However, if you, well, I guess nobody's coming in late now, but if you ever do come in late to one of these lists, feel free to leave whatever, like 10, 9, 8, and catch up with us wherever you show up. So there you go. Let's see. Can we put teams together, or is it individual characters? Teams or individual characters. Now, please don't go like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 5. Number 4 is Donatello. Number 3 is Raphael. Number 2. Don't do that. Be, you know, come on. Yeah, of course, I've got a team on mine as well.
And if everybody's wondering where VENKMAN is, he's playing with his deep fake app. So halfway through the stream, if we're replaced by famous faces, you'll know.
There you go. All righty. Are we specific to which version? That's up to you. But generally, it's just a lot easier to go Swordsman instead of Swordsman Joe, whatever his name was. All righty. So, yeah. Say again.
Great Avenger.
Yeah. Yep. That's why he's on the video that I just made. All right. Okay. So let's get down to it. Let's get this party started, as Fat Guy on Old Man Comics always says. Let's start with number 10. Eric, what'd you have for number 10?
Lester Girls from The Trouble with Girls.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Here's a guy, all he wanted was to be able to kick back, put on his jammies and slippers, and read Tom Sawyer. But femme fatales keep trying to seduce him. He keeps getting involved with international intrigue and world-shattering events. And the poor guy just can't catch a break. You know, it's the same for his dad, Chester Girls. And, you know, he had everybody from the lizard lady to all the other beautiful women that plotted to, you know, take the other side of his bed. You know, when so the poor man just wants to read his book. And I always thought those stories were just a blast. And I can't find any of them anymore. But yeah,
what are you talking about? You can't find them. I had them in an auction forever and a day.
I said I don't have PayPal, otherwise I'd be broke. But no, I said I always enjoyed, always enjoyed that character, and he's my number 10.
All righty, and I gotta tell you, I'm a fan. That's one of the reasons why when I found that collection, I was like, oh my gosh, Trouble with Girls, and only to find out that only me, you, and Dominic, I think he bought all of them, were interested. It's a really cool series. It was a lot of fun when it came out. One of my favorite lines, there was this Oriental lady trying to seduce girls, and after this big adventure, this kid that lived near him is coming up. It's like, God dang, lady, you ever wear a bra? Because all throughout you see this loose fit dress with her nippies hanging out.
Yeah, I think that is the lizard lady.
Yeah, it was a fun series. All righty, so we got Lester Girls. Now here's another one. This might actually be a hard one because there's a lot of independent comic book characters out there. We may be spreading ourselves out. I might have to change the format of the video, but we've got the Badger coming from Joe Rogers here. But remember, when you're putting in, just so I see what you're writing, make sure you put 10 and then what you want your number 10 to be. That way, because my eyes are looking for numbers first. Okay, so we got the Badger, which both you and I have spoken highly of. And of course, we had Mike Baron on. We have no idea what he's going to do with the character when he dies, but for now, he's writing some cool comics. My number 10 may actually irk some people just for how low it is on the list. And I'm going to go with Hellboy. Because I think he's a really cool character. I do admit the art kind of turned me off a lot. I'm not a huge Mignola fan, but I do like his character. I like the movies. I like the comic books that I do read. I enjoy, but I'm not drawn to them where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna read every one. But yet every time I read it, it's awesome. So when I was thinking of really cool independent characters, one of the first names that popped in my head, Hellboy, and I was like, Hellboy, but it was the first one, so I was like, okay, I got to put him somewhere. So there you go, Hellboy. A lot interesting design, although once again, not the greatest Mignola fan. I know I just lost so many subscribers. But
you didn't lose your co-streamer, so you're good.
There you go. At least we're still doing that. Sorry, gang. But yeah, there you go. My number 10 is Hellboy. We've got let's see, let me scroll up a little bit. We've got runner-up Tarot Witch and Black Rose, says Nerdy Texan. And Zach saying Sky Fox from the Jupiter's Rising. And then we have Predator from Dark Horse, which I remember when those first came out. Those were some damn good. I like the Terminator and the Predator from the Dark Horse comics. But Terminator, I first discovered Alex Ross through a Terminator comic book. It was really, really good. I really only have 3 independent characters, so I'll wait to the top 3, says Maranya. How is that possible? With Green Hornet, with the Phantom, with Conan, for Christ's sake. But no, he started his comic books in Marvel. So, yeah, it wasn't like he was in magazine. Like he did a magazine, but not a comic book.
I will back Maranya. There have been a couple of top 10 movie years where I couldn't get on until the second half.
Okay, so I got it. Yep. Alrighty, so let's see. I'm irked. I told you, you don't put Hellboy as number 1. They're going to come after you, huh?
Well, they're going to really come after me.
Number 10, I don't think Calvin and Hobbes is a comic book character, Almighty Jack. We got Bucky O'Hare from Red Guard. Alrighty. And then let's see. I'm like Moranya. I only have a few in mind due to having to work a whole list, says Jim Sorensen. Okay, yeah, if you want to put them up, I'll write them down and I'll read them off. I can only think presently of my top 5 indie characters. Oh, come on. You got this homework days ago. Actually, only about 2. But, yeah. All righty. What's your number 9 there, Eric?
All right. Here's what I'm going to fall out of favor with Venkman. Vampirella.
Which is also Joseph Pulford's number 10. So there you go.
Yeah, she started as a horror hostess in her own title.
Okay.
And became popular enough to where they decided to develop the character and actually give her a backstory and a feature. And the old black and white Warren magazines, they hired an artist named Jose Gonzalez, who one of the absolute best.
Come on. Jose Gonzalez, really? Come on. I'm kidding. I'm joking. You're like, okay, yeah, you're about to lose a subscriber, buddy.
I know you prefer Villalobos and Rossmo, but it's and I just like that. Now the character's been watered down and diluted over the years by they're willing to license her to anybody that wants to do a story. So there's been umpteen million crossovers. Some a lot of fun, like the Betty and Veronica crossovers. Some not so much, but she's been around 50 years, and far more than not, they've been enjoyable stories. So she gets number 9.
And Paul David said his number 10 is the Badger from First Comics. So we got 2 votes for that one. The only one so far that has doubled up, except for, of course, Vampirella. Vampirella is not on the board twice. My number 9 is going to be on this one more time. Somebody else is going to vote for this as well, but probably much further down the countdown. And it's the guy we talked about on Friday, Archie Andrews. The only reason why he is so high up is because he's probably one of the only characters I've grown out of. Like, I can read Richie Rich, I can read Casper still, but Archie, except for the Mark Waid version, which once again, I know you and I will say up, down, left, right, every day, twice on Sunday, that if you guys ever want to read not just a good Archie story, but a great Archie story, go for, it was Archie 1944, right? 45, 41.
41.
Yeah, 1941.
Then 55 was the Elvis.
The rock and roll.
story.
Yeah, he was in the World War II in that series. It was fan-frickin-tastic. So there you go. But I think he's a brilliant character. Obviously, he's got the staying power, deserves to be on the top 10 list. But I just kind of grew out of that character much more so than I did the Harveys. So that's why he's on number 9. Great character, though. All right, so we have at number 9 from Nerdy Texan Accountant, where did I put my pen, is Uncle Creepy from the Warren Publishers.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick. A lot of people don't know that the Warren magazines was just a way to get around the comics code. You know, if they made magazines, they weren't stuck with the same rules that comic books were. So if you were going to do horrors and such like that, that's the way to go.
And it gave a lot of the old EC talent a place to work.
All righty. Joseph, is that your number 9? Next time, make sure you're putting a number next to it. But Joseph says Sabrina is his number 9, which, I mean, heck, if you're an Archie fan, how do you feel about the side characters?
That's a good pick.
Okay. Oh, Joe Rogers going deep. Deep. See, when you say Blue Bolt to me, I'm thinking, do we actually count Timely? Are you talking about Jack Kirby? And oh my gosh, his name has escaped me.
Joe Simon.
Thank you, Joe Simon. Wow, because that was actually Jack Kirby's first professional comic book. Was the Blue Bolt. So. All righty. Joe Rogers says number 9, Blue Bolt. All righty. And let's see. Number 10 from Jim Sorensen is Green Hornet. Number 9 is The Shadow. All right. Well, I know at least we agree on 2. And I'm going to count the rest of them down along with us. Number 9 for I'm a Red Guard, Scud, the Disposable Assassin.
I found a number 1 of that last week.
Let's see. We have fine. Instead of Calvin Hobbs, you could put down Scud for my number 10. All righty. Yeah, it has to originate. Well, no, I guess they don't. But did Calvin and Hobbes ever make it 2 comic books? I think he was
unfortunately not. No, the in fact, the Bill Watterson just pulled the plug on it. He didn't. He had no desire to license the characters or anything.
I know he did Franklin Richards. That was something.
Yeah, he never licensed them for T-shirts or anything like that.
Number 10 is Cerebus for Kinney, and number 9 is Usagi Yojimbo. All righty. And let's see. Meep Meep into Disguise, The Mighty Crusaders from Zach. What do you say to that one?
almost made my list.
What with being an Archie fan. Number 9 from oh man, I like this one. Number 9 for Paul David, Scrooge McDuck. I gotta tell you, this is a forehead slapping moment. I did not think of Disney.
You're always thinking about Disney.
I know, right? Okay, hold on right here. Let me change. That is funny. I did not think of the fact that I was even going, okay, so Dell. I know Dell had somebody. Didn't they? Yes, the freaking Ducks. Carl Barks Ducks. Of course they had somebody.
It's like me forgetting to watch baseball.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Joe's saying, yes, Sabrina was my number 9. I found her through the MJH series and read the comics later. Says, all righty. I don't think Blue Bolt was timely, but I might be wrong, says Joe Rogers. I might be wrong on that one. I do know because I when I was doing my Kirby months, I looked up the first appearance of Jack Kirby, the first art, and it turned out to be Blue Bolt. Into Disguise, first 10 years, Savage Dragon was good. Since then, it's been, and I would say, and go back and read it. It's never good. Number 9 from Almighty Jack is Bloodshot. Alrighty. And there we go. No, we're doing comic books, but here's the thing. The only Peanuts comics I could think of were Dell, so Peanuts actually count.
Good enough for me.
Because they start, well, here's the way. It has to start independent. It could have been bought by Marvel and DC, but it had to start independent, and Dell did produce Peanuts comics.
Yeah.
So that does count. Alrighty. And that was, I guess, number 10. All right. And I forgot about the Scrooge comic book, says Zach. I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, what can go? You know what? I've got a character that can go right next. So let's see. Number 9 for Robert Roberts, Beetle Bailey. See, there's some excellent independent comic books. Some of them we just don't think about. The way this goes, I might have to do just a video where I'm putting it to music and just letting it go. These are the ones that everybody picked, you know, that kind of thing. Blue Bolt was Kirby and Simon, but I believe they did it for Eisner's company. Okay. Disney. Anyway, there you go. Let's get on to number 8. And while you're talking about your number 8, I'm going to go up and get Jim Sorensen and Kenny's countdown. So what did you have for number 8, sir?
The only one that you may be able to get me on a technicality, it was created for America's Best Comics, but they were owned by Wildstorm, which was owned by DC. So I don't know if that would disqualify it because I didn't think of it at the time, but Tom Strong.
Yeah, but he was created for Wildstorm before they were owned by DC.
I think Lee sold it to him in the late 90s. So I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't Wildstorm, it was ABC.
Huh.
So since it's too late to go back now, I'm just gonna ignorance and
okay.
I just loved that whole the science background, the quasi almost immortal that he'd been around for 100 years. His robot, the gorilla sidekick, the family they were just kind of wholesome adventures. It was almost like they were done. These books could have been done 30, 40 years earlier than they actually were. And so I always loved reading that character. So I'm sticking with it.
You're sticking. This is what you chose, and by God, I better accept it.
No, I said I completely forgot that it's very possible that was owned by DC at the time, and Yeah, you can Kevin Bacon your way to that with only 2. So yeah.
Alrighty. No, that's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick. I would not mind reading that someday. I actually have never read Tom Strong except for in the Terrifics. So it was like, yeah, okay, I guess something to check out later.
I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Okay, hold on just a sec. Number 8 for Jim Sorensen was Dick Tracy, somebody we will be talking about later, I promise you. And number 8 for Kenny was the Predator. That's another pick for him. All righty. And let's see what we got as far as number 8 for the rest of the gang. Number 8 for Almighty Jack is the Vampirella. All righty. Agreeing with Eric that she needs to be on the list. We've got number 8, Paul Dini's Jingle Bell.
Ooh.
Please explain.
Have you ever read it? I guess you've never read any of those?
No. What are we talking about?
They're fun. She's Santa Claus's very independent daughter. At least I think she is. But yeah, she's always getting in Christmas themed adventures. It's a whole lot of fun. Very tongue in cheek. There's fun. I mean, I've read several of those. Haven't read any in a while, but I do remember really, really liking those.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of this. Are we sure it really exists?
Yes, we are sure.
Okay. All right, let's see who else we've got here. We have let's see, Eric Green is Beetle Bailey produced by anyone right now?
I'm sure. I think I don't know if the comic strip's even still in syndication anywhere, but I know Mort Walker's long gone, and whoever took over for him might have run out of gas.
And Nerdy Texan is saying Vampirella as well. And we have Robert saying Vampirella. And let's see, Captain Midnight from Joe Roberts. All righty. And we've got the Rocketeer. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones that you're going to just have this, So
you could have had a lot of V8s, it sounded like.
I know. There's so many good characters that some are just going to have to fall off your top 10 list. Hellboy should have fallen off my top 10 list for Scrooge McDuck.
All right, Jimmy.
So, yeah, that is the truth on that one. Number 8, Nexus, says Paul, by, of course, Mike Barron, where we still don't know what he's going to do with him after he dies. Yes, that's the running joke. I'm going to just swing right on into it. I feel like this is such a broad category. So many good. I know, right? Hey, look, we can, for future lists, we can just narrow it down at some point in time if we wanted to, like do decades or do years or something like that. So this is kind of fun. Dominic's here catching up. He says The Freshman at number 10. But because there's so many, I may have to do like I did the first one where I do include all the one-pointers. We have number 9 being The Rocketeer from Dominic Powell. And number 8 is Vampirella. All righty. When I get a whole bunch of the same one and at a certain number, I wonder, okay, did she just peak? Because a lot of people just named him. Kenise steps in saying number 10 is the Max. I was wondering when somebody was going to bring him up. And number 9 being Turok. Okay. And once again, if it is somebody who has different incarnations, we're just going to go with the character itself. Because every comic book character, no matter focus. Okay. Every comic book character at some point in time has had a good run. They've had a bad run. or they're Canadian and nobody remembers them. So yeah. Alrighty, let's see. Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers says Into Disguise. So I guess that's number 9 and number 8. But in order to qualify, the comic book appearance had to be first an independent comic book. Jingle Bell is a fun character. Let's see. Rye is number 8 from Knies. Got that. Some Valiant showing up. She is Santa's daughter who gets in a lot of trouble. Jingle Bell is a fun character. Ooh, Max would be an honorable mention, says Almighty Jack. Thanks for backing me, Eric. Wait, what did I say something bad?
No, because I mentioned that I backed him up on the Jingle Bell is a fun character.
Oh, okay. And we got Lenore from Red Guard there. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to think of 10 indie characters, but yeah, there are way more. I'm pretty sure that at this point it's like, no, I'm going to wait until, oh, wait, yeah, right, Rocketeer. We got this one, yeah. So many, so very many more. Oh, wait, I didn't mention mine, and mine is not the last cartoonish character you're going to see, but I think the very last cartoon character you're going to see. And by that, I mean for families, for kids, and that's Richie Rich. Digest, Richie Rich itself, Millions. There are so many freaking Richie Rich titles out there, and I didn't care. Give them to me. I will devour them. I loved Harvey Comics. Richie Rich was just about at the top of that heap. I liked Hot Stuff just a little bit more, but he was so much fun. I liked the character. I always wanted to be. Who didn't want to be him? You know, I like the Butler. I like Dollar, Darla, all the characters. Just so much fun with Richie Rich. I have a good time with the Harvey Comics anyway. So, God damn it, just stay in focus. At some point in time, maybe we'll do the first appearance of Richie Rich and Casper and all them for our Thursday and Friday shows. It would be fun, I think. It'll be fun. We're going to have to talk afterwards regarding Hellboy E. Are you kidding me? At this point, he's not even on my list. I want Scrooge McDuck down there, man. Savage Dragon and the Darkness Top. Hey, Dragon Ball, you got to put some numbers to those so I know where to put them. Start at 10, work your way down. MIR is Terminators, Hunters, and Killers. Honorable mention, says Slid the Clock. I've got to get back to work, unfortunately, so here are my other picks. Go right on ahead. I'm going back and I'm getting Joe Rogers and Jim Sorensen as well. So leave as you do, and thank you very much for showing up when you could, man. Be safe, man. Number 10 from Slither the Claw was Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan. All righty. Okay, and then we have number 9 is Technophage from Techno Comics. Oops, that's number 9. All righty. Technophage. And then we have at number Snatch. I got to have numbers with these so I know where to put them. And Dragon Ball says Little Devil. Or Hot Stuff. There we go. Okay, and let's see. Let's go on to number 7. Eric, what do you have for us?
The Thunder Agents.
Thunder Agents.
Or the Higher United Nations Defense Enforcement Reserves.
You read that.
I memorized that. I've never been able to memorize that. It was just a unique concept. The main guy, Dynamo, Len Brown, was a guy that, he was an athletic guy, but he had a power belt that he wore that only lasted for X amount of time. So he had to get his superheroing in before the charge wore off.
Kind of like
you had
Captain the Hourman.
Yeah. You had No Man, who was an 80-year-old who was dying and could shift from android body to android body. He could shift his consciousness, so he could rush into danger and get killed all the time and just leap out of that body at the last second. You had Menthor, who was actually a double agent of I believe the Subterraneans, or whatever they were called. But when he wore the helmet, he didn't know he was a bad guy and actually helped the Thunder agents. And then the Lightning character, he had super speed, but it was aging him rapidly every time he used it. And then they had the support group. There was the Kitty, who, I'm sure the other, I think, was involved with Lightning. And then the main villainess was Iron Maiden, who kept putting Dynamo in life and death situations, but then kept letting him escape. And so there was always the will they, won't they, and it was a neat little idea. And plus, the early ones had Wally Wood, Steve Ditko, Gil Kane. So I mean, I know that shouldn't factor into it, but they were fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason why it draws you. If you like these artists and writers, like I said, one of my first introductions to the Terminator comic book was because I looked at the art. It was a book called Burning Earth, and it was Alex Ross. And I was like, oh my gosh, this looks awesome. So I picked it up, and okay, now I want to read this Terminator story. I want to read that Terminator story. But that was back then when it was like, oh, okay, so that's an extra $1? Sure, here you go. Why not?
And they kept showing up in different companies would get the, I don't know if it was get the rights to them or if they were in public domain, anybody could use them. But that annual I was talking about, the first appearance of the Elementals, the Thunder agents were in the same story as the Justice Machine. So they kept popping up throughout the 70s and 80s, mostly in the early 80s, but
okay. Well, Jim said that his number 7 is Vampirella, and Kenny says his number 7 is Yojimbo. Let me steer my way up here. And Nerdy Texan says his number 7 is Turok. Turok's gotten a couple of mentions here tonight. We've got Prophet from Almighty Jack. All right, we get some. That was Extreme Studios, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got Avatar Xeris Primordials. Okay. And that's from Slitherclaw. Leonard Nimoy's series on intelligent dinosaurs. I remember the whole Primordials thing. Joseph saying Mystery Men from Flaming Carrot, but I admit it's the movie that influenced that. I like the Men in Black in the movies better than I do in the comics, but Men in Black did start off as a comic, and it was the movie that drove me to it. Sometimes that's the way it goes. You don't always know there's a comic book behind it. A lot of people don't know that the History of Violence or Ghost World or even Road to Perdition are comic books. Or there was a movie out with Woody Harrelson called Wilson, based on a graphic novel. Nobody even knows that movie came out, much less that it's a comic book movie. Let's see. Paul David says Gru. Oh man, that's another one. Oh, at some point we're just gonna have to expand this. See how these actually go. Gotta have a Liefeld creation, says Almighty Jack. Does it have to be heroes or villains, heroes? What? It's independent character. So whichever one you like. If you're like, oh, Shredder kicks teenage mutant, I like him much. Yeah, put on the Shredder. Yeah. Dragon Ball says number 7 is Witchblade. Alrighty, and we've got number 7 for Redguard. Of course, he had to leave his because he went to work. Is 1010. Which I got to tell you, I've read a few of these stories, but that movie was awesome. It did not get the love it deserved. And I mean, it deserves a lot of love. All righty. Let's see. Dragon Ball said number 8 is Turok. So I'll back that up and put Turok down. You're going a little bit too far there, Dragon, if you're hanging out with us. But we've got Exo Man of War from Slitherclaw. All righty, let me get that back up. And I gotta say, of the that was one of my favorite of the Valiant comics. And did you happen to read Venditti's run of X-O Manowar?
I did not.
That is some tight books. I mean, that is some really good stuff. I did a really that good video on the first 6. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Dominic says the champions because I love me some Kamala Khan. I'm just kidding. Unrelated to Marvel's champions, the aforementioned team is unique and its members until they made a leap from tabletop role-playing games to the comics. I know of which you speak, sir.
Published by Eclipse, if I'm not mistaken.
All righty. And let's see. Number 7 for Kinesis, Nexus, making another appearance on the countdown. Almost forgot another pick for 7 would be Steel Sterling. Back to work I go, says Ricard. Once again, have a good night. Be safe, man. Be safe. 7 from Joe Rogers, The Crypt Keeper, which almost made my list, man. Seriously, I was thinking about the ECs.
Yeah, I should have thought a little harder because that would have.
I know, right?
I feel bad for not representing them, but
we're hearing these awesome characters, and it makes you go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah." I saw a few issues of Primordials and Dollar Bin. I should probably get some of those. And yep, anything good on Amazon Prime besides Invincible? Yes, but I'm not going to tell you. Actually, I will. I'm making top 10.
I will. Bosch starts in 2 weeks.
Bosch, okay. We watched a couple of movies and such that were on there, but I'm not even in that mindset right now. To tell you the truth. So my number 7 pick is a book that you guys need to start buying so they do not cancel it, because it is awesome. It's been around for damn near 30 years now, if not. I think it has been 30 years or a little bit less, but it's about a bunny rabbit with a sword. It's called Usagi Yojimbo, and it's 10 times badass. This book is absolutely awesome. One of the reasons I really love this book also is that the writer gives a little bit of Japanese history in a lot of his stories. Not all of them. Some of them are just straight up, here's the story, let's go. But it just seems so authentic. Even though you're looking at a cartoon rabbit, it's deep stories. It's good violence. It's everything you want in a martial arts comic book. Usagi Yojimbo has. And if you reach into that magic bag to show me that you've got Usagi Yojimbo's first appearance, you're going to floor me, man.
God. I have a number 1, but it's see, I've got a couple of ones here, but
oh my God.
I do have Usagi Yojimbo number 1.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, but it's in that pile of shit somewhere, and I can't find it.
I gotta find something awesome to trade you for. What number 7 do you have there, Zach? I might have missed it. Hit Girl from Kick-Ass. Gotcha. All righty. And let's see. What is your number 6, sir?
Number 6, I'm going to go with Badger.
All righty.
Huge fan of that book. I jumped on right after, or early in the first run, because it started as a Capital comic. And I hadn't really started reading indies at the time until that was about 6 or 7 issues in. And it was just so unique. I mean, here you had this Vietnam War vet who was multiple personalities, schizophrenic, all that. Every personality from an effeminate, tux and tails party guy to a 9-year-old girl. His dominant personality was the kung fu expert. Norbert Sykes was his name. He talked to the ghost of Warren Oates, the actor, and it was just and he could talk to animals, and he just kept getting in absurd adventures. And the two Ham, I think was a 5th century sorcerer who was still around, and kind of became like his, well, kind of his boss. And then there was, I forgot the secretary's name. And so it had a good little supporting cast. And it was just a fun book. It has been, I don't know what goes on in Mike Barron's head, but it sure has produced some awesome work over the years.
Yeah, I want to revisit that also. It's been so long since I've read it, but I remember in the 80s, I loved it. All right, we have Dragon Ball. Oh, Joe Rogers said that we have Dragon Ball saying the Phantom, Billy Zane. Let's see, and MK, what number are you putting these at? You got to number them 10, 9, 8, 7. I'm putting, there we go. Number 6. The next one I have here is Dr. David Lorne, Think Tank. These are some deep cuts, man. All righty. And we've got, let's see, Judge Dredd from Nerdy Texan. Not a bad pull. I'm actually surprised we haven't heard more from Dredd. Let's see. Good choice, Nerdy, says Dragon Ball. Number 6 is Vampirella for Joe Rogers. Getting a lot of love for Vampirella. I guess didn't. Witchblade. That's been mentioned a couple of times tonight. That's cool. Oh, Paul. Oh, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Number 6 for Paul. Man, I used to have a complete run, including the graphic novel of Grimjack. It's just badass. I love that series, man. It is such a great. That's another one. It's like, who do you take off? That's the whole point. I mean, you could make. Sometimes top 10 is really rough because you got more than 10 great ones out there.
I just found out yesterday that my friend Jerry, who's in the chat a lot, he has all the issues and he bought the trade paperbacks for the first 60-something issues. But since they didn't finish it, he decides he doesn't want those anymore. So he's giving them to me because I haven't been able to find a good enough run to get started getting them back.
You know, if you don't want them, I know something. Let's see. Number 6 for, hold on. Almighty Jack saying his LCS got 5 copies of Usagi from an estate sale. And they sent them to CBCS and they all came back 9.0s. So it's like 600, 600, 600, 600. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. That's a good buy. Zach is saying Hellboy. Sorry, Jimmy. Well, you're a few better than I am, Zach. That's for sure. Why Harry Potter looks crazy, I don't have no idea. Let's see. Not yet, Alpha Proto. But if you want to leave your 10 through 6, go right on ahead and welcome to the countdown, man. Number 6 from Almighty Jack is the Zombie Trap. Maybe smutty, but Zombie Tramp, excuse me. But because Dan Mendoza is a pretty great dude. Alrighty. I think everybody's read a little bit of Zombie Tramp at some point in time. I know I have. Archie for Morano. Alrighty. Something tells me we're going to be talking about him later. We are actually listing our favorites, and TMNT hasn't been mentioned yet, probably because they are listed higher than 6 as Almighty Jack. But yeah, put in your entire 10 through 6. That'd be cool. Joseph is saying The Crow, and he's saying he met the writer in Dearborn when he was 10, local superhero to the home state there. Good pull too. I mean, The Crow is I like the first story. I do admit some of them are better than others, but that's any comic book. You can find good and bad runs of anything. Kenise is saying his number 6 is Vampirella. She has been a stalwart all throughout this countdown. She's been everywhere there. Let's see. And the Beagle Boys from Robert Roberts. Let's just go down the Duckbird characters. Yeah. And if you guys want to stay up all night tonight, Just get that in your head, and you'll be laying there. Life is like a hurricane here, and God damn it! All right, okay, y'all, please, you know that's there, man. My number 6 is a guy who I guess started in radio. I think, but definitely was independent comic book, and that's Dick Tracy. I know it's like a mic drop, right? Because I mean, come on, it's one of the great crime comics. He's got some of the best, if not the best, villains out there. One of the greatest rogues galleries, and they were all one-offs. You know, that was the way it worked. I love the art. I love the design. It's just very simple. In a suit, yellow coat, send him out. He'll find a monkey later when he retires and gets a zoo. But damn, Dick Tracy is some cool comics. And I learned Dick Tracy from Gladstone. I don't know if you remember them, but in the 90s, they used to reprint a whole bunch of the Golden Age comic books, and Dick Tracy was one of the things that they reprinted. You
had those in an auction, didn't you?
I had quite a few in the auction. I almost had to give them away. I was kind of shocked at that. I was surprised. They definitely didn't go for what I could have got on eBay. I got an issue number 1 is Zombie Tramp signed by Mendoza. I kind of pick up old copies here and there when I see them for cheap, especially when they're signed. Girl named Tracy is around and you start talking to your buddy about Dick Tracy, I bet she gets mad. That actually makes sense, yes. All righty, let's go on to number 5. Number 5, sir. What do you have?
All right. I think number 5, I'm going to go with John Sable.
All righty.
Just an interesting premise. A cartoonist by day, a soldier of fortune by night. Continuing stories, great subplots. It allowed Mike Grell to exercise all of his favorite things to put in a comic. He's a huge fan of wildlife, so he found ways to work those in, and just some beautiful books. And it was all him. The original series he wrote and drew. I'm not sure if he drew. He might have done every issue. When they relaunched it, he had nothing to do with that, but just for that original series, it's a great series. And last I heard, he was trying to put a Kickstarter together to release a hardcover omnibus. Don't know if that ever came to, if he got what he needed to do it or not. But in a perfect world, those would have stayed in print, all this time.
In a perfect world.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I liked them before they were cool. I'm usually the person who finds out about them after they were cool, says Alfred Proto, saying that he doesn't have a list. Well, hey, I got an idea. And once again, thank you very much for listening in. We are suggesting a whole bunch of independent comic books here. So at least you can listen in, get some great ideas as we list them and talk about them. Now, number 5 for Zach was Abby Chase from Danger Girl, because why the heck not? Awesome books with equal parts cheesecake and action. And as a fat man, I do like cheesecake. All righty. So also from the guys who had to go to work, we have Robin Hood from Xenoscope. So even though Venkman's not here, Xenoscope is represented. We've got Lady Death, which might as well be Xenoscope, and Scrooge McDuck. So he is getting some love tonight. That is faux show. Also, we have Vampirella from Maranya and Joe Rogers for Hellboy. Paul David picked Miracle Man, which we also had in the auction for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Robert Roberts is saving my runner-up, saying Casper the Friendly Ghost. And we've got Dominic Powell bringing in the All Red with Madman. All righty. Nerdy's saying I got the first 15 trades talking about the Zombie Tramp. Dominic saying Zach Abbey from Danger Girl is a good choice. We've got for number 5 for Almighty Jack is Erica Slaughter Probably the newest character to be mentioned this evening, but it's the best series currently on the shelf. And what character is this? What book is this from?
I do not know.
All right. And got that down. And we've got Cross-Gen Comics. Don't forget, it says Dragon Ball. Trebek, you got to put it in a list, man. Number 5, Mr. A. It was a book from that Ditko got to make his book exactly like he wanted. All right, that's from Joe Pulford, Mr. A. And let's see. Nerdy Texan is saying his number 5 is Common America from Icon. We got some new ones. Let's give Tim Lim some love. All righty, we've got Zot from Knies. It's been a long time since I even thought of Zot, man. Tell you the truth. There you go. That is a good pull on that. That's deep cuts. And Erica Slaughter is the main character from Something is Killing the Children. I really got to learn names to the books I'm reading. I'm horrible about it, man. This one, however, I do remember my number 5 because not only is it one of the first black and white things I've ever read, it's one of the cheesiest and one of the greatest superhero films ever made, or comic book movies. I don't know if I could call this person a superhero. And all the way from England, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Judge Dredd. I am the law. Oh, come on. I dug the character. Actually, it was my brother who introduced me to Judge Dredd. And then I remember in the 80s, he made his way over to America with Eagle Comics. And it was like, okay, yeah, I'll check this out. Got, you know, I was hooked. I got to admit, I'm not these days so much because they kind of, more so than Green Hornet, more so than the Phantom or anybody of the older characters, and Judge Dredd is not that old. Judge Dredd's been used for the social politics,
yeah.
Which I was like, of all characters that do not belong with that kind of thing, I am the law, unless you are a marginalized class, and then I'm going to let you go with whatever law you broke, because I understand that because of my white privilege, I've had better. No, that's not Judge Dredd. But yeah, I loved him in the past, and that's for damn sure. Let's see. Icon says Dragon Ball Z is his number 5. All right. And let's see. Alrighty. Life in Cube is my favorite Judge Dredd quote. Life in Cube. Alrighty. So we're going to move on to number 4. What do you have for us, Eric?
All right. This might be a little bit of cheating, but they're a pair. Betty and Veronica from Archie.
All right.
And you can't have one without the other. I mean, they truly are, yeah, like I said, the eternal triangle. Who's going to get Archie?
Well, I'll go with that because many men want them both.
one in particular, but no, I say there's, and this goes back again to the first 30 or so years of the character when, long before there were any continuing stories or anything like that. They're just, how can you pick one over the other? I mean, they are, they're best friends, they're worst enemies, they're rivals. But it's just something about, those two characters are just, like I said, they're a match set. They're salt and pepper. They're, how do you want to put it? So I couldn't pick one, so I just went with both.
All righty. That I will allow it. All righty. So we have also Alfred E. Newman from Robert Roberts. Nice. It's his number 4. Yeah, I like that. That's a good pull because when you think of magazines, much like Vampirella, you don't quite think comic book characters, but there you go. Let's see. Number 4 from Zach is Invincible. We got another vote for Sabrina from Joe Rogers. All right. And then we have Icon. Nope. It was Invincible. That was Alrighty, and let's see. Mage the Hero, says Paul. I remember reading those in the 80s. Let's see. Maranya says TMNT, the black and white version. Alrighty, and let's see. Dang, there's some great titles and characters. I need to take the time and read more comics. I could name drop some comics, but I'd be a poser trying to fit in. That's cool. Hey, if you recognize some, look, you like them, you like them. Some people never even knew the Phantom was in a comic book. You know, like we were saying earlier, there's some characters that you may have learned to like through movies. If you want to add that in, you're not a poser. You were exposed. It was just through movies versus comic books, man. This is about, I love the fact that everybody here knows their stuff, but this is about talking about what we love. So if you want to include yourself, even if you know the independents through the movies or whatever, feel free, man. Feel free. All right, so we have Aspen Matthews from Michael Turner's Fathom, says Dominic. All right. That is actually one of those titles I don't read all the time, but every time I do, I enjoy it. The Fathom. Almighty Jack is bringing the TMNTs. Alrighty, and we've got number 4 from Nerdy Texan, says Zombie Tramp from Zombie Tramp. Alrighty. Couple of votes for Zombie Tramp. Fighting Yank, he is my go-to Halloween costume. Wow. Alrighty. And let's see, we have Sarah Pazzini. Who's Sarah Pazzini?
Witchblade.
Witchblade? Oh, okay. A side character?
No, that's the Witchblade. That's her.
Okay, just because she was mentioned before, I'm going to put down Witchblade so it adds to the vote rather than I accidentally separate them. Let's see. Robert Roberts, that's a good one. Forgot about him. I know, right? There's so many good ones. Dragon Ball, Phantom, The Shadow, Dick Tracy, and who else was old like them again? Conan, there's all sorts. Let's see, Slitherclaw says Bloodshot from Valiant is his number 4. Who is somebody like that? Like an old pulp hero? Dick Tracy, he mentions that. I know my number 4 is the Green Hornet. I did not give that same rule to it. I love this character. I loved him on. I got to admit, my first encounter with the Green Hornet, Batman 66 with Kato and Robin and Batman and Green Hornet all fighting. They got turned into giant stamps at some point.
Well, I mean, up until that point, there had been some serials. I know there was the Gold Key or the Dell, whichever one published it, only lasted 3 issues.
I thought Harris had a run. No, not Harris. Harvey had a run with Green Hornet too.
Yeah, but when?
50s, 60s.
Really? Okay, I didn't. I had to look that up because I mean I've never seen any of them. I'm not doubting it, but
no, I used to have one of those storage things, this filled with independent comic books. I had a lot of Green Hornets from the Golden Age, not hundreds. I mean, you're right; it wasn't a long time, but yeah, definitely had a handful. But yeah, come on, you got a hero that acts like the criminal to draw criminals into to them, so his butler can knock him out. Actually, more so in the comics than anywhere else. It's not just the Kato show. In the comic books, Reed is actually competent. I mean, granted, he's not the fighter that Kato is, but he's definitely not Seth Rogen tripping over chairs and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Hi, says ComputerBot, everyone, and we need more England Teen streams at night. Thank you. I wonder Gail would mind, though. I hope Gail gets her big break on YouTube one day. We are rooting for her. Gail is very happy being Vera to my norm. She's a very shy person. So she just doesn't like being on camera or anything. And yeah, so there you go. Vic's just saying Apocalypse. Let's see. Bloodshot is number 5. Oh, okay. I'll put that there for number 5 there. Slow the clock. All right. Put them in a list there, Vic. Start at 10. Work your way down if you need to. We're at number 4. I'll include them, and I'll make sure they get written down. And Zach saying, yeah, or Almighty Jack talking to do is Erica Slaughter from something. Yeah, okay. Number 4 for Slow the Claw was Hardcore from Valiant. All righty. And then we've got, I own issue 2 of Gold Key's Green Hornet comic. Do you now, sir?
You have number 1, right?
I have number 1, yes.
I have number 3.
Hey, we should all get together and have a reading party. At my comic shop just got number 2, and it is looking good. My number 1 issue of Green Hornet is one of those that the military guy had, so it's got the writing on the front and everything. So, which I found out through Almighty Jack, by the way, they don't really count that because the first appearance of Scarecrow I sold to them, they scored it better than what I scored it as. Let's see, Glory from Image, somebody mentioned, not yet. I remember when Frito-Lay offered a green plastic Green Hornet ring as a giveaway, and it might have been a Frito bag. That's what Maranya says. I like the tech of the Green Hornet movie, but I hated Seth Rogen in that film. You know what? You don't even have to include the words in that film. We understand. Independent Apocalypse. Dust Head 2 for, okay, you're way ahead, dude. All righty. So, well, I mean, whenever there was a cameo by Apocalypse, it was always pretty cool. Cable also was good for sales, says Vic.
Vic might not know we were doing an independent thing because you got late.
Okay, Vic. Yeah, if you're here, we're counting down our favorite independent comic book characters. And we have got a slew of them, man. We've got more than what everybody was thinking. So if you want, write down your top 10. And what's going to happen is I take everybody's votes and I score it. You know, if it's 10, it gets 1 point. 2 is or 1 is 10 points. And then I make a video over on Old Man Comics based on our votes. And so, yeah, every vote counts because, you know, just a few points might actually bump one closer to the end. Yeah, so go right on ahead. It's independent comic books, and we'll get your voice heard, man. All righty, so let's see. Does Witchblade She in the Darkness count? Yes, they do. So long as they were not owned by Marvel and DC when they were created. That was the major rule. Beyond that, even if they started in movies and or radio or pulp and they came to comics, it's fine. We've got Scrooge McDuck, which obviously was a Disney thing. Somebody put Predator in here. Somebody put Alien in here. So there you go. Let's go to... No, oh, wait, no. Oh, I just talked about Green Hornet. Number 3, sir. What do you have as number 3?
Okay, this was tough to decide which one was going to be 3 and which one was number 2, but number 3, Nexus. All
righty. Which we have gotten vote for before. Well, let's talk about Nexus.
Again, the idea of a guy that's granted literally ultimate power to execute mass murders, and it's basically driven him insane. And he has to go into a restorative tank to get his mind right, after so much killing. And as the series went on, they introduced his, there was his ex-wife, their children, and he was involved with a lady, by then named Sandra Peel, and it was just it was just a neat book. I mean, I said it, I would say that of everything Baron has written, that's garnered the most critical acclaim, and deservedly so. It's just a masterful, work.
Okay, I haven't read that in forever though. Let's see. Zach is saying his is difficult, but the spirit gets his vote. The Xenomorphs get Nerdy Texans. Now, the guys who had to go to work and they left theirs, we have Turok. We have Judge Dredd. Somebody called Skeleton Key. So I don't even know who that is. Let's see. We've got Hello to Grotto. And number 3 for Slow the Claw is Wesley Gibbons of Wanted. All righty. Let's see. Number 3 for Paul David, Grendel. That's not a bad pull. Number 3 for Joe Rogers, The Spirit. All righty. And let's see. Dark Hawk for Rhaegar Targaryen.
He meant Shadowhawk. Oh. You realize because that's a Marvel character.
Shadowhawk. Yeah, I was actually right down. I was like, wait a second. No. Shadowhawk. All right. I'm going to turn this down just a touch. There we go. All right. I'm looking into the light. I'm not liking what I'm saying. X-Mutants, the whole team, says Maranya, is her number 3. And then we have Scrooge McDuck he's just going, the Ducks. Call Bart's Ducks. How about if I put that in there? Actually, I'm going to put Scrooge McDuck because he's gotten a couple of them, and that'll add to the votes and such. Let's see. X-Mutants got a Sega game, says Dragon Ball. Yep. Laura Croft, says Kanice. Which I like those. I like those comics. You know what? I had a copy of a comic book from Laura Croft, and on the cover, she was in a wetsuit, and he drew her with a camel toe. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, And I had to sell my comics, and I sold it. And then when I started doing the auctions, and I did that adventure thing, I went looking for some Laura Croft. Guess what comic book is going for $1 gajillion? Let's see. Hellboy. I love the horror and myth, says Joseph. All righty. I'm actually surprised we haven't heard more from Hellboy myself. But Vic is saying Supreme. All righty. And we have anybody mentioned Savage Dragon? A couple people, yep. Actually, one person. There we go. Number 3 for Dominic. Gen 13, a colorful cast of teenagers who developed powers and became heroes within the guidance of former Team 7 member John Lynch. Since then, they had become one of Wildstorm's best-known characters. All right, I think
I'll say about 25 issues, like the last 25 issues of that series. Absolutely phenomenal.
That's something when Spawn's the same way. Like if you read the first few, it's not really all that good, but after a while it starts picking up.
Oh, once Gen 13 got past the style over substance that Image was, Gary Frank was the regular artist for over a year. And John Arcudi was the writer, and those were good. But Scott Lobdell took over, and with Ed Bennis art, and turned it into kind of like a pop culture satire book, and it was really, really good.
All righty. Yes, Almighty Jack, I got you down for Spawn. And let's see, Rhaegar saying he's never played. He's played the Tomb Raider games. I've never made it through one. Like I play it for a while, but I've never made it through all the way through one. Let's see, Jack, I had to flip a coin for my number 2 and 3 spot. Hellboy lost, and Almighty Jack is telling me that that Joe knows where to put Hellboy.
I knew where to put him too.
Not in the top 10.
Got that right.
Well, he was mentioned a couple of times, and I was actually thinking about doing a video about this character because with the current climate, he's one of those comic books. It's definitely one that could possibly get canceled. Not canceled like a normal comic book gets canceled, but canceled as in how Twitter cancels things. And that's because of a sidekick named Ebony White. And my number 3 is The Spirit. Will Eisner leaps and bounds ahead of his time as far as art. He was really drawing things, putting the title in the actual backgrounds. He was doing stuff that people were not. He was making 3-dimensional comics. He was making, in my opinion, 3-dimensional characters when a lot of Golden Age, including Marvel and DC, some of our favorites, just weren't. The Spirit is incredible. There's a reason that they started calling the best comics the Eisner Awards. Of course, they f that up, but what you gonna do? But The Spirit's amazing. If you haven't given it a try, do give it a try. Remember the historical context. Let's see. What else? Yes, Supreme is surprisingly worth reading. Yeah. Alrighty, so let's move on to the runner-ups. Number 2, Eric, what'd you have?
Airboy.
All right.
I confess I've never read the original run, but the reimagining where it was Davy Nelson Jr. and taking over his father's legacy, and then drifting into a relationship with Valkyrie, who had been involved with his father, and she'd been Captain America. She'd been like frozen for decades. And so she was still young in the 80s when all of Airboy's, David Nelson Sr.'s friends like Skywolf had aged, and he was still around to give him guidance. There was the Japanese guy that his father had met in World War II, who'd become a valuable ally, and it was a neat series. It kind of showed his growth as a person, settling into trying to fill his father's shoes. He was completely innocent but drawn to this ultimate femme fatale, and Chuck Dixon just wrote a great series. I just loved it.
I like the way you're talking about it because you give it a sense of nostalgia that goes beyond what or the time period that you would have read it in. It's almost like even remember and talking about it makes you think about how maybe the comic book brought you back to. And I know I'm gonna be way off on this, on stuff like Sky King and such like that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into what you're saying, but yeah.
If you're saying it came along at the right time too, I mean, as a golden age of a golden age of indies, in the 80s, and this was as good as any of them. So yeah.
Alrighty. So I'm going to do another forehead slapper right here. So let me get through these. Roberts is saying, can I be true to my love of comics? I need to list the Beagle Boys. I misnumbered them. Alrighty. What do you want to go in the Beagle Boys' place? What's her name? The Magica Gearloose. What duck character do you want to go in there? Let's see. Number 2 for Almighty Jack is the Hellboy. The number 2s for the ones that went to work were Lady Mechanica, Spawn, and the Ant. And we have Common America from Zach Richards. Some of the most fun I've ever had reading a crowdfunded book. Black Star Blood is Morania's pick, a mercenary from Saber, the Eclipse comics. Oh, wow. And my head-slapping moment, because I had all 12 of the original run, and I collected them so much during the 90s read these books until they were dog-eared. The Tick. Such a funny universe that pokes holes in my favorite genre, says Joe. Great freaking pull. So Snatch says I got to catch up, so I'm going to spam him. So let me count his down to number 2 at least. And he says the radioactive hamsters. All right. And at number 9, he had Grandma from Once and Future. All righty. And then he, let's see, we have number 2 from Nerdy Texan Accountant in there, who's also saying the Tick. Thank goodness, because I feel kind of silly for not including him. And my number 2 is way too big to take out for him. Sorry. But he's also saying the Tick from the Tick NEC. I love the animated series and enjoy the live action TV show from 2001. Me too. I haven't seen the new one, though. Tick in Common America, Black Ops joins the Max as honorable mentions for me, says Almighty Jack. And Joe Rogers brings up Archie Andrews. All righty, and we've got Usagi Yojimbo at number 8 from Snatch. All righty. And then we've got Genius Pick coming from Zach. Let's see where we stand and where we stand for number 9. Let's see. Number 7 is She for Snatch Face. And then we've got number 6 being Judge Dredd. All right. And then we got, there was a cool story about 5 to 6 years ago, and I remember the name about a guy who takes a pill and gets powers. He's an everyday Joe. Forget the name, sadly. Miracle Man, the generic comic book. Snatch says number 5 is Spawn, who's gotten a lot of love tonight. And Rhaegar talking to Joe. I remember seeing the Tick animated show come on back in the 90s. If I would have known it was as good as people say, I might have watched it. All righty. Snatch says number 4 is TMNT. And number 2 for Kanice is Spawn. All righty. Yeah, a lot of love for Spawn here tonight. Number 2 for Paul David, Usagi Yojimbo. Can't fault that pick. And let's see, number 3 for Snatch is Homelander. Oh, I missed number. Did I miss number 4? TMNT. Yep. I wrote it in the wrong spot. There we go. And then number 3 is Homelander. Even my wife likes that character. Let's see. And we've got number 2 from Snatch, which is Shredder. I was wondering when somebody was going to bring up the villain. And let's see, for a moment, I thought he said the Beetleborg, not Beagle Boys. The first 12 comics are much better, especially if you're... Yes, I agree. The first 12 comics of the Tick are amazing. Let's see, Black Hood from Impact Comics. Good job, sir. Good job. All righty. And yes, he's from the Archie series. Let's see. We've got Nerdy Texan saying honorable mention is Mr. Crip from our Alterna, Dick Tracy, Spawn, Hellboy, and Tarot. Dominic comes in saying Angstrom Levy started as a minor character until his powers of dimensional travel became active. It eventually drove him mad and became a powerful threat to Invincible in the wider Image universe. So Angstrom Levy. All righty. Man, I've got my work cut out. This is going to be a video I'm going to be working on all week, or at least for the next 2 weeks, because I've got one in between it. Let's see. Love Patrick Warburton as the Tick. Yeah, he was really good. Dang, I want to change my number 2 to Usagi. All righty. I don't think you gave a number 3. Why don't I just back it up? I'll back the other one up. So there we go. All right. Okay, I was this close to putting Negan on my list. One of the best bad guys ever, hands down. And hail Rhaegar Targaryen. Sorry about Bob Baratheon. Okay, yeah, we all have our hurdles. Yeah, some people just can't go over them. And Redguard's back. How you doing, sir? All righty, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Of all time, the comic book character that was created, not with Marvel, not with the DC. It is your number one independent comic book character. Eric, a lot of pressure. Who did you pick? Oh, never mind. I know, but why don't you say it anyway and explain why?
There could be only one possible choice.
Two.
Nat Rat.
Exactly. I mean, after The Dark Knight came out, people were coming up with all sorts of parodies and such. And Nat Rat, of course, had that very iconic parody cover of him. Absolutely great.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Exactly.
Archie Andrews. I said we talked about if there was a comic book character Mount Rushmore, that fourth spot is a battle between Archie and Wonder Woman. And since Wonder Woman was not an independent character, with Archie, because he has, I mean, it just all the stories, all of the titles, all of the pop culture, all of his contributions to pop culture. I mean, and he is the centerpiece of all of it. So yeah, that was an easy choice for me. Yeah, and I get your point about you've kind of outgrown it or just moved past Archie, but yeah, I look at a lot of the characters on my list are no longer being published, so there's nothing to grow out of or to like I said, if there was an old line, if Jim Morrison had lived, the doors would be opening for Foghatted Annie's, and that was a local club in Cincinnati.
That, yeah, I think that's very true about the band, like so many others of the era, and that's so true about everything else. But Archie isn't. I mean, yeah, he's still independent, and he's grown up. The stories have grown up with him. Sometimes gone horror, sometimes gone mystery. But that's one thing. Whether or not he's your number one character, you cannot ignore the historical the historical importance of Archie Andrews as far as the comic book industry.
Yeah, it's just always fun. A lot of sometimes mean-spirited fun, but as I said, it was just and I actually do like some of the modern interpretations of the characters, so that's even better.
It is something that we've read and we're like, okay, Mark Waid has screwed up so many Marvel characters, yet for that one, he's doing well on. Okay. Let's see. For the ones that went to work, we have Gen 13, TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Kaboom, which I'm like, what? Can we post the list in the comment section once the video is done? Yes, sir. Please, by all means. I do check before I make the video. So once again, your voice will count, and you will get your vote in if you put them in the comment section after the thing's been posted. So let's see. Let me go through these. I was writing them down while you were talking. Still listening. Almighty Jack says Cerebus, hands down. Let's see. As a kid, Richie Rich, my family had financial troubles, but my father always had money for another Richie Rich, millions or billions, giant size. Not just me. Not just me. Richie Rich is the best of the Harveys. Okay, second best. I still like hot stuff. Let's see. Billy F. and Butcher says Snatchface. That's his number one. Dominic says Scrooge McDuck. Need I say more? Yes. Yes, sir, you need. You really need. No, obviously, I mean, this is a character that a lot of you 90s kids grew up watching on TV. Carl Barks, the Disney comics, I still enjoy him today, tell you the truth. I remember reading them when Gladstone. I was a big Gladstone buyer back in the 90s, and I picked up all sorts of stuff. I've got on those discs I told you I got in the 2000s, I also have every Walt Disney comic as well. So I have picked through them and read through them too. Joseph is saying TMNT, Donatello is my favorite, but the whole team has to be number one. And John Saber, the title character of Saber, he was a badass character with a sword and blaster who coincidentally was black and had an interracial relationship. But that wasn't a big deal at the time because they probably focused on story first. All righty, let's see. Joe Rogers says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Do I have that down? John Saber, TMNT. And then we have Judge Dredd from Paul David and Firepower from Zach. Lobster Johnson from BWK. Oh, BWK, also, please, by all means, when this is posted, leave your top 10 because it will count in the votes and everything. All righty. And welcome. Okay, let's see. My number one, says Slitherclaw, Bloody Mary from Helix Comics. All righty. And let's see. Can we put, yep, already answered that one. Yes, by all means, please post your list after if you're coming in later. Had to think about him, the tick and the hamsters at 10 and ended up going with hamsters, says Snatch. I legit thought at one point that the Archie Bunker show was basically Archie, but when he was old. That's funny. That is funny. Okay. Let's see. Where are we going? Where are we going? Okay. Number one for Kenice is TMNT, Archie, TMNT, Leo, if I had to pick. Okay. And let's see, we've got Turdy, there you go. Nerdy Tax and Accountant. TMNT, my favorite is Donatello, but the Turtles work better as a team. I love the films from the 90s and the 2003 cartoon. That was actually, oh, I thought you meant the movie. I do like the movie. I just bought the original cartoons on DVD, says Nerdy. All right, we get another vote for TMNT. Nobody's mentioning my guy. Nobody, I don't even know if anybody really thought. It might be one of those that nobody thought about. Let's see, Archie and Sabrina comic got a YouTube video that's like real long and good. And we should do a top 10 characters by certain writers. I was split on Archie and TMNT, says Joe Rogers. Went with the Turtles based on their success as an independent comic. Okay, so if you're weighing the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a comic book or Archie as a comic book, that's kind of weird. Number one for Ivan says TMNT. All right. This is not actually shocking me. And Alpha says number one for me is TMNT. They changed what people thought was possible with independent comic books. Showed you just needed an idea, art, printers, and the willpower to have a household name brand rule generations.
Now, you know, if you think about, though, the effect, the success as an independent comic, maybe not, but the impact on pop culture, you know, TMNT was ginormous. I mean, They had several movies, several cartoons. Archie for years had a couple of cartoons and one made-for-TV movie. So in that regard, TMNT made a, you know, you could argue a bigger splash.
Yeah. All righty. Let's see. We have MK saying his number 3 was Alex and Ada. All right. Great underrated series. Snatchface talking about Firepower issue number 1 is one of the best introductory issues in the last 10 years. Redguard says my other 5 would be Ninja High School. We might do manga because we have no idea what we're talking about. Even though Scrooge McDuck had previous voice actors such as Dallas McKinnon and Bill Thompson, Alan Young is the definitive voice for the character for 42 years until his death in 2016. And let's see, my number one, which nobody thought of. And I guess I'm the only guy that's going to do this. Like I said, so long as they started independent, it doesn't matter if they ended up over at DC for any amount of time or whatever, because let's face it, Judge Dredd, the Shadow, all sorts of. Oh, by the way, I never mentioned that. My number 2, I never mentioned it. That is the Shadow. I just realized I never called out my number 2. And I did that because, I mean, come on, it's the Shadow. He's a freaking awesome character. He's inspired Batman. We all saw the movie, and that was awesome. I've always enjoyed it. I enjoyed the radio shows. I enjoy every comic book iteration I've ever read. So that's why he made it to number 2. But the one guy nobody thought of as far as that was concerned, my number 1 is the Captain Marvel. Not any of what Marvel wants to do. I'll pick MF's version over Marvel. But for me, it's Billy Batson, Captain Marvel from Fawcett Comics. Go back, read any of them. I guarantee gosh darn to you, you're going to have a blast. For a while, he was out selling Superman, and with good reason. The panels were bright. They were big. They were just beautiful artwork. Some interesting, some off-the-cuff stories. You could tell that CC Beck enjoyed what he was doing when he wrote those comics, and it was just a cash grab. But you could still tell there was love there, and that is why Billy Batson's Captain Marvel, not the guy whose arms fly off. Yep, not this guy. although I love it, although I do love it, it's not this guy. But if you've got a first appearance of Billy Batson Captain Marvel, you could send that along too. Yeah. But yeah, I always have enjoyed not just Captain Marvel, but the entire Marvel family, including oh my gosh, I was about to say his name and I forgot it. It's Uncle. I hate my memory sometimes. Talking Tawny, Dragon Ball is bringing up Uncle Dudley. Thank you. I remembered something, but yeah, that's my pick for number 1. Independent comic book character has got to be Captain Marvel. So there you go. You might say I'm cheating, but there you go. Oh man, England team, back my list 2 spaces and put the Spirit at number 2 and Captain Marvel. The real one is number 1. I will do that. See, I told you there's independent comic books out there, especially when you consider Blue Beetle was an independent comic book. The Question was an independent comic book. Damn near the entirety of the Freedom Force. Not all of them, but I believe Phantom Lady was an independent comic book as well. So, yeah, there's so many out there that it just kind of right out of our heads until, I mean, The Rocketeer, The Tick, I didn't think about. So many great independent comic books out there. That's awesome. I haven't that, by the way, this is a gift from Eric, and I am sending something to Eric that I'm sure he will love just as much. So there you go.
One might ask themselves, who thought to get Arm Fall Off Boy slabbed?
I know, right?
But someone did, and the rest, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely fan-freaking-tastic comic book that nobody mentioned, Pogo. Not one mention, not even for me. And I remembered it. It's just incredible. I didn't read that many independent comic books, which is why I had a hard time coming up with 10 for the list, says Maranya. If you look them over, if you see anything on the list, put it in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll back it up with Spirit and Captain Marvel. So there you go.
And did we say hi to Dave ASSANOWICZ yet?
Oh, hey, Dave ASSANOWICZ.
Hey.
No, I didn't. I was ranting. I'm kind of excited. This is a really fun. This is a lot of fun doing the independents. There's a lot of people taking part. And Sean Fry's going, Uncle Dudley. That was it. Yes, I remembered it in time. Yeah, I think so. Did anyone mention beta? I don't know. Yeah, Hulk, smash the like button. Please do. It helps out with the algorithm. This channel certainly could use it. And hello to Davis Assanowitcz saying Lil Abner is one as well. Yeah. Who did he say? Pongo, Pongo. It's a, oh goodness, what was his name? Starts with a W. The guy who did, goodness gracious. I hate it when, you know, Paolo, are you awake yet? Walt something. Walter Kelly? No, that's, goodness gracious. I don't want to look it up either. Did anyone mention Battle Chasers or Crimson? Those would be my other 3 and 2. No, nobody mentioned them. Pogo, not Pongo. I'm sorry, Pogo. Thank you very much. I apologize. Dragon Ball says he could never get into the spirit. Some things are for some people aren't. You know, it's just the way it is sometimes, right? Like I was saying, I like Hellboy, and I liked it enough to put it in my top 10, but after reading some of the other names, he's off the list. Scrooge, Rocketeer, I forgot about. Yeah, there's just so many. The Little Nemo guy. We actually did a video on this channel. My brother loves Little Nemo, and when he was part of the channel, he did a video talking about that. So look it up. You might enjoy it. It is with a different microphone, though. Walt Disney, those were some good comics as well. Anyway, gang, there you go. That is the list. Did you have a good time there, Eric?
Yeah, this was fun.
All righty. So next time we talked about doing this, so we're going to finally do it. Next week, think of your top 10 comic book characters that did not make their first appearance on the cover of, did not make the cover of their first appearance. For example, the Zatanna didn't appear on Hawkman number 4. We just did Archie, which was Pep number 22, which Archie was not on. So think about your favorite characters that didn't make. That's going to be the next top 10, guys. So I hope you enjoyed what we did tonight, and keep an eye out for the videos on Old Man Comics. I'm going to be posting the worst Avengers tonight. What's up, Eric?
I'm going to save you guys a little research because Sabrina came up a couple times. She as well did not appear on the cover of her first appearance, which was Archie's Madhouse 22.
Computer Bot said, we need England team. We need more live streams at night, please. Computer Bot is at work. He wants the radio. Well, my wife's home and I haven't eaten dinner yet. I figure what the heck, let's kick back, relax, watch a movie and have some dinner. Last night we watched, what was it? The horror film just came on HBO Max and in the theaters, The Conjuring, which was, that was fun. It was entertaining. Tonight is my pick. So we're going to watch Singing in the Rain or something more manly than a horror film. Gail only likes to watch movies where people die. A lot. Yeah.
Does it tell you anything?
Huh? Yeah. She only watches crime capers where the woman gets away with killing her husband. I don't know what she's trying to say. Yeah. Wonder Woman would count, Joe. She was not on the cover of the first appearance. But yeah, that's what we're looking for next week. All righty. So thanks for the fun time. Well, you're welcome, Zach. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Seriously. Hey, Gail, everybody says hi. She says hey.
Good evening, Mrs. Peterson.
Usagi Yojimbo was number 1 for some people there, Ash. You can combine the two and watch Clockwork Orange. Hey! All righty, you guys have a great time. Thanks for hanging out. And
Mike, she wants to watch Looking for Mr. Goodbar with him. Does that count?
Oh, Eve. Yeah, you guys are a lot of fun. You guys are a lot of fun. Thank you. Have a great night, gang. Thank you very, very much for watching.
Good night, kids.